Hi everyone, it's Mao from Sparkly Valley. In my last video, we measured and cut out all panels we need to sew this baladi dress with a Mandarin collar and a placket. I love when all panels are cut and waiting for me to sew them together. Let's get started. First, place the front and back panels right sides together and sew along the shoulder lines with a zigzag stitch or your preferred stretch stitch. Then take one of the sleeves, place it on the front and back panel right sides together and match up the midpoint notch with the shoulder seam. Pin it in place. Then match up one of the corners of the sleeve panel with the corresponding end of the armhole. Do the same with the other corner. Match up the middle, then the rest and place pins. Then simply do a zigzag stitch with a 1/2 inch or 1 cm seam allowance along the curve. If you sew sleeves for the first time, place lots of pins before you sew and stitch slowly. Don't worry, it's not that hard. And of course, repeat the steps for the other sleeve. Then place everything right sides together and sew from the end of the sleeve all the way to the top of the slit on both sides. Use a zigzag stitch at a 1/2 inch or 1 cm seam allowance. Next, take the two collar pieces and place them right sides together. Sew from an end to end and leave the bottom part open. Trim the seam allowance down to about 1/8 inch or 2 mm. Turn it inside out and put it aside. On the right side of the front panel, measure and mark the center point all the way down to 14 inches or 35.5 centimeters from the neckline. Right sides together, line up the center lines of the front panel and the placket panel and pin the two layers together. And do a straight stitch along the 1/2 inch lines from the center line. Then take scissors and cut along the center line and at the bottom corners towards the stitches along the lines you drew. Be careful not to snip the stitches. Now turn to the wrong side of the front panel and flip the left side of the placket panel over. Fold 1/4 inch or 5 mm from the edge and fold again so that the fold just covers the stitches. And pin it in place. At the bottom, fold it up a 1/2 inch or 1 cm from the edge and also sandwich the triangle and small rectangle pieces in the layers. Place the pins and from the right side of the front panel, stitch in the ditch, meaning along the seam. These stitches will catch the fold of the placket panel on the inside, but the stitches won't show on the outside. At the bottom, simply do a straight stitch along the fold with 1/8 inch or 2 mm seam allowance. Next, on the right side of the front panel, fold the placket panel 1/4 inch or 5 mm and fold again so it covers the raw edges of the center line and the stitches on the wrong side. Again, stitch in the ditch and do a straight stitch with 1/8 inch or 2 mm seam allowance at the bottom. Line up the placket and do a straight stitch to create a 1/2 inch or 1 cm tall rectangle to secure the flap in place. And finally, take the Mandarin collar piece and mark the center with a notch. Mark the center of the neckline on the back panel and align the center notches of the collar and the back panel right sides together. Then match up the ends and the rest just like how we did for the sleeves. And do a straight stitch with the 1/2 inch or 1 cm seam allowance. Then fold the other end of the collar half an inch or 1 centimeter from the edge towards the wrong side and match up the fold with the stitches. Pin it in place and stitch in the ditch from the front. And the rest is easy. Fold all raw edges half an inch or 1 centimeter towards the wrong side at the slits and ends of the sleeves and the slits of the dress and the hem, and do a straight stitch to create a clean finish. And that's it! Now you have a very professional looking modern style baladi dress with a beautiful Mandarin collar with an opening. If you want to adjust the length of the opening depending on the performance, you can add a couple buttons or snap buttons in the placket section. You can show your matching bra top, which is a cute, playful look. If you want to make a similar hip scarf and a head scarf, I have a tutorial, the link is in the description. And if you want to make this Dina style bra that I'm wearing inside of the baladi dress, I have a brand new course called the Dina Bra from Scratch, where you'll learn to create a Dina style bra that fits you with ordinary materials. Check it out at the link in the description. Hope you liked this baladi dress tutorial, and if you did, please share with your dancer or costumer friends. Thanks for watching and keep sparkling!